This is my module 5 video, and real quick here we're gonna run through the code. And so this is my main function, and this first part here from lines 3 to 12, I'm just declaring some of the variables that I'll be using. Now most of my variables are mutable. The only two that I believe are not are the player names. So we have the bool value for playing, so that the game can continue. Uh, the value for play again, in case the players want to play again or not. Then the value for players turn, so X or O. Then the winner, whoever is considered the winner after a round is over. Then again the player names, which will be prompted. Then we have a variable to keep track of the scores for player 1 and player 2. Then we have this board array that will keep track of the spot values for each position in the TicTacToe board. And then we have this random one, which I had to create just to make it easier for other things to work. I was having issues passing and manipulating this board, passing it to a function. So I created another variable where it would just take the position that would be modified based on the player, whatever the player chose to do. So here we're starting out displaying the score, and we'll go ahead and jump to that function. We'll show what that function shows. Actually, we'll start with the prompt to get the names. So here we're creating a new variable, and we're prompting the user for a name. And while this name is not valid, we'll just continue to ask him over and over again. And I know it sounds annoying, but we want valid names. And then the second function here to display the board game, it's pretty straight. Oh wait, no. So this is my bad. This is to display the score, and this is for the player 1 name, player 2 name, then the score for each. So it's going to display the score or the name of the player, and then their score after that. Then after that, we have this function to display the board, and here we have the board array, which none of these have returned any. Well, I guess this one has. This one's returned a string for the name, but these two don't return anything, as shown here by this arrow with an empty parentheses. They don't return anything, and it's just displaying the board based on whatever value is or is not in that board. And then moving on, we have the play turn function. So if we go back to our main function up here, we can see that our main loop is while playing, and since we have it set to true here, we're going to at least play one round. So if so here we have this update. So this is the variable that I had to create because I couldn't just modify the board while passing it to a function. So this play turn is going to take whoever player turn it is, and they're going to go ahead and play that turn. So they'll be asked what square they want to play on, and it's going to figure out if it's an empty spot or not. And if it is empty, we'll return that number. If not, we will keep prompting the player for a valid spot. It does check if it's below 1 and greater than 9. And if it is, it's going to continue prompting with the appropriate messages too. So going back to main here, we can see that we continue playing. We can see that we're updating the board. We're displaying the board again, and then we're checking for a winner. So this get winner function, we're gonna go down here, and this is one thing that I that I'll do later. It's actually further along, but this player function here, all it does is change who the current player is, and I just decided to turn it into a function because it was just easier that way. So the get winner function here, it's just going to check if there's a winner, so it's going to check all of the values in the array and check if the values are either in X's favor or O's favor, and if it's not, if there's no winner and there's still empty spots in the board, it'll just return no winner. So and no winner is just an empty string, so that means that there's no winner yet. But if there are no more spots in the array, empty spots in the array, then it'll return draw, so that the game can be determined as a draw. And then after some calculating here, we are going to prompt if the players want to play again. So that function's right here, the last function, prompt play game. So we're going to be returning a string. If I read that right, yeah. So we're going to return a string, which is this play again. So the value either yes or no. So here we're just going through, we're making sure that the input is valid, whether it's a Y or an N. So you can't just type in the word yes or the word no. So, and all of these things, I haven't talked about it, but Rust does this thing where it reads line spaces and return values. So when you hit enter on your keyboard, it will read that. So we have to make sure we remove that to make sure to see if the user's inputting an empty response to anything. So it'll make sure that a response is entered in, and it'll also make sure that the response is appropriate. So then if we go back to our main function, we can see that if they decide not to play, then we're just prompting a message, thanks for playing. If they do decide to play, then we reset the winner, because if winner's equal to anything but empty, then it's gonna go through this prompt again. And we're also resetting the board so that they can start over again. And then no matter what, every new game starts with the new player. So it's not an uneven playing field. Every player will have a turn to go first, and then this update will go to 0, and that's because that's the number that we get from the user saying which position on the board we want to update with their move. So if I go ahead and run this, we can see that it's prompting me for a name, and I'll just use my name, and then I'll just use some random name. I'll say I don't know, bot1. So here I can play the game, and I'll just try to I'll just go ahead and win to show that it does work, and to show some error checking right there, I can't use a spot that has already been populated. So enter your incorrect one, and I'll win, and you can see that this displays correctly. I didn't figure out the format so that it's always set, but this is still correct. It still shows the name and the score right. And if I go ahead and say yes to play again, we can see that it prompts the player 2 to start. So we'll just start them as winning. So we'll just do the opposite. So here we see that they win, they get a score. And we'll just try, it's kind of tough for whatever reason, but I'll try a winning scenario. So here we have O again. So we'll try to make sure that it's a tie. Okay, and as we can see, it was a draw. The the message is placed correctly, and we can see that the scores are updated correctly, and we can hit no, and it displays the message to play again. Now, another way that we can also get this game to work is by going to a terminal. So let's just go to the terminal, and we can say run, oh sorry, cargo run, and we can see that it starts the game up again too. So either way works. It's either with an IDE like the one I'm using, Visual Studio Code, or you can use your terminal, navigate to the root page here, or the root folder here, and just run the command cargo run, and it should work just fine. But yeah, that's my code right there. Just a quick glance over it again. And if this is too fast, you can just pause the video. And that is my program. Thank you.